It's a 55 Desoto fire dome, 4-door, base model. But the only thing that makes it special is the color of the paint. It's really dirty right now because it's the middle of winter in Wyoming and it sits inside. It sat in our cabin barn for about a month with the cover on it before I moved it in here. Pretty much just because I was lazy and didn't do it, but it collects a lot of dust in there and I need to wash it off when it gets warm out. I hate seeing it dirty. Like the Hemi, I always thought it was cool to tell people I had a Hemi in my car because when people think of Hemis, they think of 2nd gen Hemis or even the new 3rd gen Hemis. And no one really knows that they put them in these old cars, so that's probably one of my favorite things. 100 to the wheels. It's old and it's beaten up and it's had a decent life on it since I've had it. Sodas themselves are fairly rare. They didn't make a lot of them. Mine's a little more rare because it's a base blue with a heavy metallic, which was a fairly expensive option in 1955. But mine's also pretty rare because it's an original car. It was in a barn for about 45 years when I found it. I think I put around 6,000 miles on it. I can't remember exactly how many miles were on the odometer when I got it, but it's at 59,000 right now, so around 6,000. I've driven it all over Wyoming pretty much. We went to Cool Deadwood Nights this last summer. I drove it to Denver this last summer as well, and I daily drove it in high school and school too, almost every day. And I had a lot of memories and went and did a lot of stupid stuff in this car. No one around my age knows what a Desoto even is. And for me to have one this nice, drive around, I attract a lot of old people and specifically old men. They seem to like it a lot. I don't think I would have made it through high school how I did without this car or made it through anything in my life. This is by far my favorite car I've ever had. It belonged to one of my grandparents' friends and been friends for a long time, kind of a family friend, and he collected a lot of cars and I'd seen this car sitting in his barn since I was 6, 7 years old, and I tried to get it for 5, 6 years and he would never get rid of it and I could never afford to have it. And one day I got out of a surgery and that's all I could think about, and he was there and I kept bothering him for about 2 months straight, and he finally decided to sell it to me. I've got a 31 Model A 2-door sedan that's chopped 5 inches and has a 4-banger in it, and I daily drive a 65 Galaxy 500 top car. I've already lowered it, and what's funny is I've gotten death threats for driving this car from other Desoto owners, and it's such an original car that there's few things I actually want to do to it. I've lowered it 4 inches in the back and 3 inches in the front, and really all else I want to do, I want to put a set of lake pipes on it from 50s, 60s. But other than that, I love it how it is. In person, I know one guy, he's my friend, and he has, I think, 3 other Desotos. None of them 55, but really that's it. I don't know many people with Desotos at all. Well, it's only a 2-speed tranny, so I bang gear, just one gear. First gear takes you, depending on how hard you're getting after it, from 30 mile an hour to about 65 mile an hour. And second gear will pull you pretty much well over 100. Around 120 is the fastest I've ever been in it. And it's not so much scary, you're going that fast, it's scary on the car because I don't want to break anything. I try to keep it as nice as I can and treat it well, but you have to know how fast it's going to go when you drive it. Maintenance on an old car it's not hard, really. It's necessary, though. Even my car's 6-volt, and when I tell people I have to maintain the battery or brushes in the generator and stuff, they really don't know what I'm talking about. So it took a lot to learn what I needed to do and when to do it, but I drove it so much now that I enjoy doing all the regular maintenance on it. I would like to put another set of white walls on it. I'm going to this spring. It's got a fairly old set of 3-inch white walls, and I'd like to go with the old style bias ply looking tire. Just Firestone 570s are the best looking tire ever, especially with a 3.5-inch white wall. I spent a lot of time inside this car. I slept on the side of a drag strip in Sturgis for 2 days in the back seat. It's basically a couch in there. But I'm 5'8" and I can lay completely flat in there. No problem. It's basically driving around in a car with 2 couches in it. Before I had this car, I had a Chevy state pickup that I lowered and made a dually and turboed, and through that pickup I made a lot of friends, and they're my best friends to today. And we're all into cars. That's something we share. We all have a passion and drive to build these old cars and have fun with them. People think I shouldn't drive my car because it is worth a little bit of money, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's my car, so I'm going to drive it. I'm really not saving it for anybody. I'm going to keep it as nice as I can and give it a good life, and it'll go on to someone eventually, but for now, this is my car, so I'm going to enjoy it. I could in high school, parked it in the school parking lot, went to lunch in it with all my friends. We'd pile 8 people in there, and they'd be dragging the bumper out of the parking lot. The brakes are a little scary. It's hard to find parts for older cars, especially a car that isn't as mainstream as some of the others. So finding brake parts is a little hard, but I did a lot of research and went through a lot of companies, and now that they're starting to wear out, I finally got a company to build me a set of brake shoes and a master cylinder, so by the end of this month, it'll be brand new, ready to stop. My car is because my dad had built show trucks when I was a kid, and through his high school experience, he had hot rods and cars, and that's just what he did too. And being around semi-trucks and show trucks, I got into mechanicking, and we mechanic all our trucks, just my dad and I, and it just moved on from big semis to diesel pickups when I turned 16, and I got into that for a little while, and I realized it's a lot cheaper and a lot cooler, a lot funner to build hot rods. We live about 45 miles out of town on a ranch, and our dirt driveway is almost 2 miles long from our shop. But I drive it all the way to town and cruise around town with all my friends. We cruise up and down 2nd Street, which is our main drive pretty much, and just hang out all night, Friday and Saturday nights usually. Every night I drive it back home, whether it's 10 o'clock at night or 4 in the morning. It's got a 21-inch steering wheel. You get in there and it has an 1/8 of a turn of play before it even moves, but anybody who's drove an old car knows that's how it is, and you really get accustomed to that feeling. So you're putting that much input into the steering wheel before it moves when you're driving down the highway. And anybody can drive an old car, but not everybody has the drive and passion to maintain an old car, take care of it like you're supposed to. Really have to. The first time I drove it, it was with my grandpa, and I think I was 15 years old, and we drove it down the road, and it actually ran out of fuel because the fuel gauge didn't work, and I thought I broke it, and my grandpa broke it, and it just ran out of gas. We got new gas, put it in there, it fired right up, and drove back home. The steering wheel and all the plastic in it, they didn't really have the sophisticated form of plastic in the 50s, mid-50s. So they used a material called Bakelite, which is a sulfur-based plastic kind of material, and the whole steering wheel is made out of it, and the little knobs inside and stuff. And when it heats up, it smells like sulfur. And when just the sunlight beating on it, it'll fill the car with a smell a lot like puke. I drive it a lot in the summer, and even though it has a cowl vent and wing windows, it gets a little warm in there sometimes when you're not moving. And I always like the look of the big swamp coolers hanging off the window. I couldn't afford to buy one because I wanted an original one, and they're anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. So I just cut a fire extinguisher apart and built one, and people seem to love it. I've met a lot of people around the country and became friends with a lot of people through this car. Just talking to them, or trying to get information from them, or trying to get people to help me get brake parts made for it and stuff like that. So I made a lot of friendships with this car.